Quarterback Inside In Rankings Week 5, presented by IrvinandM.com. I'm running this on Thursday night for Friday's video. Expect more videos later every week for the other unit groupings like wide receiver, running back, waiver, and injury news. Click the playlist in the top right so you don't miss anything. If you're new here, this is where I take industry-leading data, Vegas sports books, and expert analysis to provide you with optimal weekly rankings for the utmost accuracy when setting your weekly lineups. For Week 5, the S tier is projected 22 fantasy points or more. A tier is about 20 points, B is about 18, C is 16, and D tier is the rest. It's 15 projected fantasy points or less. And it begins with Josh Allen. 257 over-under, 281 yards per game. He's the PPR king this week. Most weeks, they're 8-point favorites this week, and the implied team total for this game is 28-20. Allen coin to the moon. Next, we got to talk about Jalen Hurts and Patty LaVon Mahomes. Jalen Hurts, 226 over-under, 197 yards per game. So, why is he here? Well, 2.3 touchdowns per game, one of which, literally every game, he takes himself. They're set to win this week, 23-20, in Philly against Denver. Not as impressive as a score as the Bills, but neither is KC versus the Jags. Patty LaVon, 272 over-under, 267 yards per game. Also, 2.3 tutties per game. Same as Hurts, just half as frequent, or one of those touchdowns taken himself at 50%, 0.5 per game. He's rushing quite a bit too, only 12 yards less than Hurts. He's set to win 24-21. That's a top 3 right there. We have 2 more studs for Week 5, or may they be made into glue and their hooves into ashtrays. It's Herbie Hancock and Soldier Fields. Justin Herbert, 270 over-under, 289 yards per game. 1.8 tutties per game. Justin Fields, 237 over-under, 286 yards per game, 1.7 tutties per game. Nearly identical. Okay, Chargers, though, should beat Washington 25-23, and the Jets are set to lose by just a point, 23-24. Jets L. But the theme here is IRL scoring. 28-point win, 23-point win, 24-point win, 25-point win, 47-point team total. That's a lot of scoring. A lot of big performances here. That's your top 5. A tiers for the rest of the elite quarterbacks with fantasy matchups set for about 20 fantasy points or more. There are only 3 here. I just lost my place. Where am I? There are only 3 of them this week, and we have to talk about Jaden Daniels first. He's on the other side of the ball of Herbert and the Chargers, scoring 23 points himself, if you remember. So this is a close, high-scoring game. Could easily get into a shootout. 265 over-under, 253 yards per game, 1.5 tutties per game. Check tomorrow's injury designation video before Sunday because he's questionable. And talk about scoring points. It's 7 and 8. It's Danny Dimes and Jared Goff. Their teams are set to blow out their opponents. Colts, 27-20 with his long neck. Raiders lose, and the Lions, 30-19. Bengals lose. So even though we can assume a good touchdown or 2 of that will come via a running back, they're still set to crush for fantasy, just like the rest of the top 6. Daniel Jones, 245 over-under, 282 yards per game, 1.8 tutties per game, 7-point favorites. Jared Goff, 228 over-under, 235 yards per game, 2.3 tutties per game. Just like the big boys, 10-point favorites. That's an impressive top 8. And it's about to get sketchy with quarterback injuries, new quarterbacks, buys this week starting at 9. There's one that stands above the rest. One that has so much upside, they may very well take over rest of season. I'm saying it. Rest of season takeover at 9. It's IrvinandM.com. IrvinandM.com is my company my best friend and I started in 2020. We literally make everything ourselves by hand. We have earrings, rings, necklaces, bracelets, tie clips, apparel, and more. Over a dozen curated gemstones and 100 handcrafted products. If you need a gift or something special for yourself, use the promo code in the description, find something you love, and buy it today. Back to the video. If you like spending money and looking good, shop on my store, www.irvinandm.com. But if you don't, because you hate looking good, you hate cool stuff, like this hat, like this unbelievably nice shirt. Look at it. It's glowing. You hate yourself and me, just subscribe. It's free. All right. Sorry. B tier, 18 fantasy points. Hopefully your starter is here or above. We've got 4 more fair starts before we start to get worried. It's 18 points, and at 9, it's Draco May. I know. Total's bad. Looks bad. 20 to 28. Bills slapping them around this week. But give this breakdown a chance. Drake May, 253 over under, 271 yards per game. Also 2.3 touchdowns per game, just like Goff, just like Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, the other big boys up here. So even though they're about to get bent over, he produces fantasy points. And that's all that he needs to do to take the 9th spot. Dak Prescott at 10, 240 over under, 280 yards per game, only 1.8 tutties per game. He's not as impressive as Goff and the others, but those are great numbers that generate fantasy points. And what's more, he's set to beat Justin Fields. Remember his high-scoring close game? Well, 24-23, Cowboys win. No defense at all. Pickens and Wilson to the moon type shit. Kyler Murray is next at 11. 249 over-under, only 222 yards per game, and 1.5 tutties per game. Not as bedazzling as the other lines, but he has a similar style as some of these guys. But what's more, he faces the Titans this week. Everyone's favorite team to beat by 7 points. Cardinals, 24-17. Kyler W. Either Michael Carter is going to go crazy or Kyler Murray is going to be all over the field on Sunday. There's your hot take. And it's Baker Mayfield at 12. He's questionable. Again, check tomorrow's injury video for designation updates before Sunday. But it's 247 over under, 258 yards per game, 2 tutties per game for the touchdown maker. Unfortunately, he is set to lose, if you remember, 20 to 23 this week. But he does love throwing touchdowns and being in shootouts. All good things in terms of fantasy and generating points. We've got 12 on the board. And let's see who's at 13, because it is slim pickings. And if you do math, if these guys are in good places, then their opponents are next. And we got to talk about the man said to beat Baker, the touchdown maker, which kind of goes against what I just said, but it's fine. It's C tier, 16 projected fantasy points. We're getting desperate. And at 13, it's Baker's opponent, Darnold. Sam Darnold. To start the tier, 23-20, you're supposed to beat Baker. 235 over under, 230 yards per game. Either team could win this one with 23 points and a solid fantasy performance. It's not as sketchy as it might seem, but we're getting sketchy. At 14, 15, and 16, we've got Bo Nix losing to the Eagles. Close, tough game. Could get wild, though. Geno Smith has a tough one, like Drake May, but older and less talented. And Jackson Dart, I know, but he's facing the Saints, which is still one of the worst games of the week. But, well, there's not really a but. I am memeing a bit, but it is pretty much that. Bo Nix is a good bet with 2.1 tutties per game in a close game with Philly. Gino's at 253, but we're hoping for garbage time boosts for this one. And Jackson throwing a dart at the board and seeing if it sticks, pretty much, which I'd say is what we're also going to have to do right now with Stroud. Because the Ravens are, in fact, in such bad shape that Stroud's an actual Hail Mary here at 17. But now it's the rest. Don't start Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Tua, Jake Browning, Russell Wilson, Cam Ward. I'll recap screenshots at the end. Let's do tight ends. The tight end landscape this week is struck with buys as well. We've got about 9 respectable options before we're concerned here in week 5, but S tier is 12 fantasy points or more. There's 4 of them, and they're good for about 50 or 60 yards as well. Trey McBride, 63 over-under, 59 yards per game, 9 targets per game, touchdown 30% of the time. Tyler Warren, 58 over-under, 66 yards per game, 7 targets per game, scores a touchdown 30% of the time. Jake Ferguson, 45 over-under, 56 yards per game, 10 targets per game. Scores a tutty 30% of the time. They're all winning their games. They all have 7 targets or more. They all score a tutty 30% of the time. And Brock Bowers at 4. He's hurt again. Still 47 over under, 56 yards per game, 7 targets per game, like the top 3, but 0 touchdowns for him. And he's set to lose his game this week. But no crying about 4th best. Okay, these tight ends are set up to score the most points in fantasy this week. They have the best performances. They have the best matchups. They have the best game scripts. A tier is for the rest of the elite tight ends projected for about 10 fantasy points this week and about 40 to 50 yards. There's 5 of them. Thank God. Hopefully you can slot a top 9. But let's start with first 3. Henry, Kincaid, and Dallas Goedert. Hunter Henry, 40 over under, 51 yards per game, 6 targets per game, scores a tutty 80% of his games. Pretty good, right? Yeah, I like that too. Like the video. Dalton Kincaid, 33 over under, doesn't sound as good, but 45 yards per game. You know who scores a tutty in 80% of their games? Dalton Kincaid. That's big boys. Okay, Dallas Goedert, 35 over under, 38 yards per game. Same amount of targets as his big brother Kincaid here, but he scores 100% of the time. That's right. What's better than 80% touchdown rate? 100%. Hallelujah. That's a top 7 right there. Johnson and Kelsey at 8 and 9. They both have over-under set at 40 and have averaged 46 to 51 yards per game. They score tutty 30% of the time as well. They have okay games this week. And while Kelsey's Kelsey, Juwan gets there by way of PPR target scamming with 8 targets per game, which is funny, but reliable, just like me. It's B tier, and we've got 3 more before you're cooked. It's 9 projected fantasy points, about 40 yards, and a dream. Sam Laporta, 38 over under, 44 yards per game, 5 targets per game, no tutties, but he's in a slam dunk against the Bengals this week. Maybe he comes away with one of those extra tutties from Goff and the scoring Lions. 30-point totals. Zach Ertz, 40 over under, 37 yards per game, 5 targets per game. He scores a tutter 50% of the time. Really good. In a close, high-scoring game with the Chargers, if you remember. It's a good maybe. Literally a coin flip. And Brenton Strange, 36 over under, but 46 yards per game. 6 targets. No tutties. Losing to the Chiefs this week. I know, it's tough. It's tough out here. It was all good and fun, and then now it's rough. It's the C tier. There's 5 tight ends left, 8 fantasy points, about 20 to 30 yards. Harold Fannin at 13. He's been reliable with 40 yards per game, but he's set for just 27 this week. Browns are a mess. They're set to lose. Terrible low game total with a quarterback change. Not good. Mark Andrews at 14. I know. 23 over-under, 32 yards per game, only 4 targets per game. And it could be, or at least it was, a tutty 50% of the time. But he's got a quarterback change too, and a host of messy problems for the Ravens, just like the Browns do. Darren Waller. I know. It continues. Will he continue? Almost certainly not. He's already listed as questionable. And wouldn't you know it, Miami's in dire straits, just like the Browns, just like the Ravens. It's Dalton Schultz. I know. At 16, 32 over-under, 31 yards per game. Texans are in the same boat as well, scoring just 16 points as a team on average every Sunday, and a host of injuries and poor performances. Not great. And TJ Hawkpua at 17, 29 over-under, 4 targets. Nobody cares because it's not enough. It's not enough. Like the rest. Don't start David Njoku, Chicken Conquo, Theo Johnson, Gadsden. I don't have pictures for any of these people. Mason Taylor, Evan Ingram, Tommy Trimble, K-Dot, and it doesn't matter. Recap. That's your top quarterbacks. That's your top tight ends. Ask me questions down in the comments. Click the playlist. Check the other rankings vids for week 5. Like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you see all the videos each week before submitting your lineups. It's free, so it's a good value. But if you like spending money and looking your best, use the promo code SPENDITMyStore. And watch some more videos!